All right, so making every coaster at Magic Mountain worse. I'm not talking about just like making it rougher or like more uncomfortable. I'm talking about real things that the park might actually do and implement in the coming years that could really hinder the experience on all these coasters. Wonder Woman, Flight of Courage. They could make this one worse by probably taking a couple cars off the train, to save on maintenance costs. It would make the ride much slower and less forceful. Just kidding. I'm just talking about Scream, the park's B&M floorless coaster. They could make this one worse if they got rid of the horn at the beginning. I like the horn. Riddle me this. That one would be worse if you couldn't adjust the seats. So if they were just stuck in the up position all the time, that would probably make the ride worse. Start your engines, because we're heading over to West Coast Racers, G. I think what would make this one worse is if they hired Ludwig the Accursed as the ride operator. I don't think he'd be able to press those buttons too good, which would really hurt the throughput of the ride. YOLO, motherfucker. We're going to full throttle. This one could be made worse if they took out the loop, so they could sell it and be able to afford to fix Top Thrill 2. Then let's go over to Goliath, the park's hypercoaster. I think, that tunnel that you drop into right after the first drop, I think if you put like a bunch of beehives in that tunnel, then that would probably make the ride experience worse. Then let's go over to Batman, the park's B&M inverted coaster. I think we could make that one worse by, let's say if the park has it so someone robs you before you get on the ride. Let's go over to Superman. So I think we could make Superman worse if, the ride's never open. They're always doing work on it. Let's stop that work. If we stop that work, then the ride will probably catch on fire from the magnets. And that would probably make the ride worse, I think. Let's take a hike up the mountain to Ninja, the park's aero-suspended coaster. The park may try to attempt to add some more theming and immersion to the experience. They might do this by, having real ninjas come and beat the shit out of you before you ride. That would probably make the ride worse. The Dirty Colossus? No, this is Twisted Colossus. This one would be made worse if they sold 2 of the trains so they could afford to fix Top Thrill 2. Oh no, it's the end of the world. Just kidding, we're just heading on over to Apocalypse, the park's GCI wooden coaster. I think if you loosened all the bolts and the structure right before you sent the first train of the day, it would make the ride an apocalyptic experience. Grab your pickaxe and we're going to head on over to Gold Rusher, the park's Aero Mine Train coaster. I think something that would make this ride worse is if you had to work a full shift in a gold mine before riding. Disney is really good at theming, and Magic Mountain might try to follow in their footsteps by bringing that top-tier immersion and theming. But it might not always be a good idea, because I think having to work a shift in a gold mine would make the ride worse. Now we're going over and back down the mountain for Revolution. I think if someone came up to you and punched you in the face right as you were sitting down, that would make the ride worse. Now let's go over to Tatsu, the park's B&M flying coaster. I think what would make this ride worse I think what would make this ride worse would be xenomorphs everywhere. Now let's go over to X2, the infamous X2. I think a way to make this one worse would be if they upped the fire part and it made it so all the riders, caught on fire. I think that would probably make the ride a bit worse. Then heading right next door to Viper, I think park could make this one worse is if they made you eat like 10 al pastor tacos and 5 modelos before riding. Like, subscribe. Goodbye.